I'm really excited for this event today. So, for those of you who are joining for the first time, I'm Aaron. Lindsay is the back. We've got a number of great volunteers to speak to them in a moment. And we're at the beautiful offices of Manning Elliott. So thank you so much to the Manning Elliott team. We will have, we will hear from them. Okay, and there it is. So it is with gratitude and respect that we acknowledge that we're gathered today on the traditional, ancestral and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. We've got some amazing sponsors. I spoke to Manning Elliott previously. They joined recently. I announced it last event, but we're really, really lucky to have them as a great sponsor, working with our companies and obviously putting on some great events today. But all of our other sponsors are extremely important to us as well. You can find out more about them on our website under the partners page. I want to introduce Michael from Manning Elliott to say a few words and hear a little bit more about Manning Elliott. So I'll hand over to you if you want to use the mic.
Yeah, sure. But just want to welcome everyone to our space. I'll shout out to the Manning Elliott partners, Jennifer Phipps is back there, Lyndon Braun, where's everybody else? Ryan, there he is, Jeanette, and who am I missing? Herb, there's Herb. Yeah, so Manning Elliott, full service accounting firm. I started the SRD R&D advisory practice about 18 months ago. And so we've been looking to get involved and support the community. And this is, so we'll be hosting 4 of these events per year with VANTEC. And hope you have a great time. Thank you.
Next off, I would like to say that we have a great partner in Keiretsu. We have Greg Hill today. So if you are interested in learning more about Keiretsu, certainly reach out and chat with Greg today. Really, we have a great partnership where we're looking to find where we all fit within this ecosystem. And that's been a big part of what I've been learning over the past almost year since Lindsay and I took over the operations of VANTEC, and we found that Keiretsu is a great place both on the entrepreneur side, a little bit sort of later stage in the pre-seed, seed, more that pre-series A stage for companies. So a great place to go to after VANTEC or explore that option to have that on your radar. And also for investors as well. If you are a new investor or you're an experienced investor, it's a great place to collaborate with one another and learn from one another. So really do appreciate you coming down, Greg, and always appreciate having Keiretsu as a great partner of ours. Next, I would like to talk about VANTEC as a community. And I think it's really important that we realize that we're here today to support entrepreneurs, but also build connections and bridges to help our own businesses, help us as investors. And so I think it's really important that we get to know one another. So I'd like to just do a new segment here where we introduce a few people every month, and so start with 2 new and 1 existing member, and just ask a few questions. So if I could invite Mike Volker up to introduce yourself. I don't know if you all know Mike yet, but I won't steal his thunder. So
Aaron, when you said 2 new, you were really wanting to say and 1 old.
Well, I had to really.
You did. I saw it.
It went. The word went through my mind. It did go through my mind. But okay. Mike, could you tell us your name and how long you've been angel investing for?
I'm very old. My name is Mike Volker. I started angel investing 42 years ago, and started here at the VANTEC sessions exactly 25 years ago. Who was in the room on that day? I know one person for sure, Ulrich. Is there anyone else that joined us for the very first meeting? Peter did, and that's it, huh? And, you know, at that time, we sort of spun out of the Vancouver Enterprise Forum, which is now the Vancouver Entrepreneurs Forum, and we thought we need something like this, and it's really nice to see so many new faces. So it's good for us to be able to get to know each other a little bit better so that we can do due diligence together, kick the tires of new ventures together, and that sort of thing.
Love it. Could you tell us what kind of businesses or sectors, industries that you're looking for in particular, if any?
No, I like all sectors. You know, one of the things that draws me to angel investing is the learning experience. It's just so exciting to learn about new technologies, new trends, new opportunities. So I like anything that has a compelling proposition and is a good story and has some upside to it.
And as an angel investor, how did you make your money?
My first, the company that I started as a University of Waterloo spin-off company, we sold it back in 1981, because we saw IBM coming out with the personal desktop computer, and we knew that the days of dumb terminals and remote computing were somewhat limited. So the handwriting was on the wall. We merged with a number of other companies, took the whole thing public on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and I've been doing angel investing ever since then, trying to work with university spin-offs and entrepreneurs going through it for the first time.
Thank you so much, Mike. I'm sure most of you already knew who Mike was, and but it's good to hear a little bit of his story. I'd like to introduce one of our newer members, Graham Pitches. Are you out there? Graham, you're out there. You know what, Ethan? Why don't you hand him the mic that you've got? We'll make sure that everybody can hear you, but tell us your name and how long you've been angel investing.
Okay, my name is Graham Pitches. I would like to say I am an angel investor, but I am an aspiring angel investor. So I'm currently an investor and also an employee in my current company, which is a Series B scale-up headquartered out of Estonia, of all places, which I never knew was actually a country or interested. But actually, fun fact, the co-founder of Skype is actually Estonian company.
Love it. Great. And this is a place for aspiring angels as well, and somewhere to come and learn and see what it's all about, whether it's even something that you want to pursue. But tell us a little bit about your experience, your background, what has brought you to where you are today.
Yeah, okay. So as part of an investor in my current company, so they're quite understanding a lot around kind of the machinations, kind of the VC and fundraising world. So Estonia is kind of known as the Silicon Valley of Europe. Right. And actually, so my founder, he's big into angel investing as well, too. I had a few chats with him as well. I thought, take a look at some of the local investing groups, what it is in a local community.
I love it. And is there any particular businesses or business sectors, industries that you're looking for?
Yeah, pretty preferable to B2B SaaS. I think preferably in the SMB space. There's a lot of goal in that SMB world that is very underserved by some of these legacy companies. My background is really kind of sales and go to market.
Ask Yushen if you are in the room. I know it is quite a small room, and just so the presenters know, like I started like this, I'm now like this, and I think you can all hear me.
And I've been actually investing in the past 10 years. And actually, I was a new member of Curiosity. I just noticed that someone was here from Oslo as well. So I was kind of with the joint membership. But this is my first time, but it's amazing in VANTEC.
And we're really happy to have you here. Are there any business sectors, industries that you particularly look for?
I look for not specific restricted areas, but my main focus is on healthcare and medical research.
Awesome, you're in good company here for sure. And tell us a little bit more about your background, how you became an angel investor.
I came from like a scientific background with PhD in neuroscience, and then I started working on the business side and started my own business, consulting and innovation consulting business. And then I realized that it's very hard to generate passive income by doing consulting. So it's more like it's good that you help individuals to set up companies here, and then you see the good potential, and then you will make some early investment. So that's how I entered.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Yen. So definitely make sure to make everyone feel welcome. If you see a new face, shake their hand, ask them how they're doing and where they're coming from and what brought them here today. Because really, that's what we're all about, is building this community. And the more that we work together, the more we collaborate, the better this whole experience is going to be for everyone. Next up, just want to mention a little bit about the membership. So if you are new or you're considering becoming a member, I really do want to just highlight a few main things that we do these pitches 11 months of the year. We do take a month off in August, so keep that in mind. Everyone's usually off at their cabins or enjoying the sun somewhere. But we have 10 to 15 sometimes, and like today we had a couple of companies drop out last minute, but we usually will have 10 to 15, but at least 100 pre-vetted companies a year. Like I said, connecting with other angel investors. And the other thing is being able to promote your own programs, your events. You've got things going on, or you're really liking the look of some things that are happening around town. So we really want you to come and promote those things that are happening and that you think that everybody else could find valuable as well. Next up, we're doing another new segment. We're trying a lot of new things, but I have had the pleasure of getting to know Tim Swanson over the past 6 or so months, and so Tim has recently published a book called Inside the Mind of Unicorn Builders. And I'd like to ask Tim to come up and say a few words in a moment. Really just quickly, how Tim and I got connected was as an investor with What If Capital. I realized that we're investing in founders that are executing on a well thought out plan, but with those founders, there's a lot of important things you need to look for, and there are characteristics that really set some founders above the rest. And I think that it's important to be mindful of what you're looking for in an entrepreneur that's going to be running the business that you invest in. And so I thought that this was an extremely important topic to bring up, but we've been working together on sort of how are we assessing founders, what questions are we asking, what are we taking from the answers that they give us, and I think that this could be a really great thing for everyone else. So Tim Swanson, everybody.
So thanks everybody, and first of all, just Mike, thank you very much. There's a special thanks because you are the founder of the Vancouver Entrepreneurs Forum, Enterprise Forum. I'm a past chair of it. And without that, I don't think that you really set the foundation for the whole community. So thank you for doing that. And again, that's another organization that is really worth attending and working with. Very briefly, you are angel investors, and as angel investors, you're looking for the next best thing, the biggest new thing on the block. And what if I told you there is a way to identify the qualities of an entrepreneur that can increase your or reduce your risk and increase your returns? Specifically, I'm Tim Swanson, and I'm the author of Inside the Mind of the Unicorn Builders. And this is the 6 behavior sets of successful entrepreneurs. Several years ago, head of one of the accelerators at UBC, Barry Yates, he had said, Tim, I have hundreds of students and hundreds of researchers, no resumes. How do we figure out how to place our investments? We have limited spaces. And I thought, that is an absolutely amazing thing. When you take away the resume and you take away the product, what are the core things that make a successful entrepreneur? So this book is a deep dive into those characteristics, those behaviors that set aside the successful entrepreneurs and what makes them tick and what they all have in common. The first step to becoming a unicorn is to be immortal. And really it's a quip that I like, because really becoming a unicorn, everybody seems to think they're an overnight success, but it's actually when product market fit meets the right timing, and being able to survive long enough to find that product market fit is really critical. And in order to do that, you have to build a culture that is focused on achievement. It's fast paced, it's resilient, it's collaborative, and then it's innovative and it's focused. These are all attributes that everybody goes, yeah, whatever, but these are actually behavior sets. And this is not about the what or the how. This is about the who. Who has these? Who has these behaviors and characteristics? Because ultimately, it is your leadership, it is your CEO founder, it is your CEO leadership team. If they have the right behavior sets, these things come automatically. In codifying what I'd learned over 3 decades as an executive search consultant, I have worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs, some successful, not so much. I've also worked alongside a network of academic researchers and academic experts, as well as business advisors, as well as venture capitalists and industrial psychologists. So in taking everything I've learned and from them, I'm really standing on the shoulders of giants in many ways when I've brought all of these aspects together to come up with the entrepreneurial leadership persona. What I'd like you to think about is when you talk to your invested companies, in your portfolio, who's your customer persona? The one thing a lot of people don't think about is, what's my leadership persona? Because that persona is what your culture is going to be. So I spent 6 months out at UBC talking with everybody I could. I did a couple of funny things as I learned that UBC is a great place where knowledge accumulates because none of the professors would give me any, but they were very interested in what I was giving. So it accumulates. You may not be able to read this, but after I codified all of these behaviors, I put it on my whiteboard and thought, nobody is ever going to be like this. And when I sat back and looked at it, it suddenly popped off in my mind. Jonathan Bixby, Joshua Bixby, Judy Hess, Mike Gardner, I could roll off a number of people that had all of these behaviors. And that's what I'd like to go through very quickly today. These 6 behaviors, it's not quite what you think, but motivation for task achievement, that motivation is very different from goal achievement. This is actually a different way of looking at it. You're looking at somebody that will drive the growth. Structure and ambiguity is about being able to make decisions with limited data. Capacity and tenacity is exactly what it sounds like. You have a huge to-do list. How do you stick with it? Curiosity and learning. This is unique. It is not just being book smart, but it's how you acquire the knowledge. The communicator. There's a very specific way in which people communicate, and it's a lot about listening, and it's more about the way in which people's brains work. I'll go into all of these a little bit later, but leadership, fundamentally straightforward. Nobody needs to talk about leadership, but we can tell you exactly what type of personality you want to look for in a leader that will bring all of these things together. When you have all of these behavior sets, that culture of achievement, of pace, getting things done, collaborative, and that ability to stay with it and be there long enough for a company to achieve product market fit, it comes naturally. It's almost guaranteed. Task achievement, really simply, done is better than perfect is the best way to describe this. This is a phrase commonly used, but really it is somebody who is motivated by a to-do list. They don't get excited about achieving a specific goal. They get excited about knocking something off the to-do list. They love the to-do list. They get an adrenaline rush every time something's knocked off. And so what happens when you have that behavior set, you get pace, you get resilience, and then that becomes the metronome for the company. And other employees, other team members will also start to resonate with that same thing. Structure and ambiguity, this is really being able to make decisions with limited data. And this phrase here, I'll read it for you, but this blows up the head of engineers, but this is to live by. There's never time to do it right, but there's always time to do it twice. Tell that to an engineer, they have an aneurysm. But when you combine this with done is better than perfect, what you're creating is a company with pace and a company that is able to get an MVP in front of a customer as quickly as possible. The best way to describe this is you never have perfect information. General Colin Powell had in his book was the 40-70 rule. You have to make your decision when you have at least 40%, but no more than 70%. If you have more than 70% information, you waited too long. If you don't have 40% at least, you have a higher likelihood of making a bad decision. When you combine this with done is better than perfect, there's no time to do it right, but there's always time to do it twice, you end up with a company that is quick on decisions, fast pace, will get the product in front of the customer and start making assessments faster. These are the 2 key things that you will find you can't teach. This is just an innate behavior set that you need to look for in all of your investees and all of your leaders. Capacity and tenacity, I'm just going to go very quickly over this one, but this is really about they have to love what they're doing more than the money, in my opinion, although the love of money can actually drive an organization, but it may not drive a culture in the right direction. The things you listen for are, this is so much more than a company. This is so much more than a job. We're trying to make a dent in the universe. Those types of ideas and concepts gets everybody in the organization up in that morning that they just feel they have nothing left in the tank. I'm not doing it for me. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for somebody else. That is really one of the key parts of capacity and tenacity. And there's a lot more that goes along with that in the chapter about people that have coping mechanisms to enable to continue to stay with it. Curiosity and learning. This is so much more than just being book smart. If you don't know something, read a book, go to a book, that's nice. But the most important thing is that desire to actually learn through other people. I don't really mind what it is you want to learn about, but I'll give you a quick example. First example is, tell me what business book I should read. That's nice. You'll get a list of business books. What's the last book that you talked about? It's not kind of obvious which book I last talked about, but before that, it was Vavo Pabe's the Nobel laureate on the Neanderthal genome. But when you start to talk to somebody and extract the information of what's important, why is it important? Why did you talk about it? You get a diversity of thought. When you also have a diversity of thought, you never know where the right answer is going to come from. It can be anybody in the company, not just the head of engineering. So you want to be always learning through other people. And in identifying a leader, they will ask, how did you solve that problem? Well, I called my peers, I called my mentor network, brought the team together. We just talked about it. And then we came to a conclusion. That's important because internally, if you bring the team together and you ask for their input, you automatically create a collaborative culture. And if the receptionist is part of that discussion, sometimes you get ideas that you never would have thought of before. Once you've hit the wall, the outside of it is, we need to know more. Let's go ask a customer. Internally, you get collaboration. Externally, you get a customer-focused organization. It's automatic. The communicator. The best way to describe this is relentless in finding a common language. I had the privilege to meet with Dr. Lisa Papania, who is a researcher at Simon Fraser University, and she presented her paper on what makes innovative companies. It was fascinating. All of these companies had all of these great engineering leaders and vendors had one thing in common. They were relentless in trying to find that language where people would start going, okay, I get it, as opposed to, I have no idea. It's interesting when you think about it that way. That should be what you think, but you get academics or you get people that with extremely high IQs, they go, well, if you don't get this, forget you. Never mind, I'll talk to somebody else. But when you have that person that is just, I don't think you understand why this is important, and they will keep trying to find that common language. Connecting these two pieces together, the only way to really see your customer's perspective is to speak with the customer's words. So people that can change the words they use in their language in order to create that communicative bridge or that bond. So thinking about how you do that and how those people think, it's so much more than just reading a book. It's actually just being able to wrap your brain around people think differently. There's a good chapter, spend some time on that one. I think it's really worthwhile. And just simply when you're talking about leadership, communications need to be clear, simple, direct, actionable. If you have those 4 words on the whiteboard at the beginning of every meeting, you make sure you hit all of those things at the end of the meeting. We know what we're doing. Everybody understands where they are on the same page. It's a culture, it's a behavior set. This is really my favorite. And I actually have a research paper that was incredibly helpful. Leadership, crap flows up, credit flows down. The true meaning of leadership is humble, humility, but when that company wins their award, when they are company of the year, the CEO should be up on stage and just say, everybody come with me. I'm just here because I'm fortunate enough to be working with this amazing team. They deserve all the credit. That's the type of person you're looking for. It doesn't matter who deserves the credit, but it's when you have a leadership that has that, it's not me, it's us. It's not me, it is the vision, what we're trying to do, how we're going to make a dent in the universe. That's when you bring all of those aspects together. So when you have somebody who is high achieving in terms of task achievement, gets a lot of stuff done, able to make decisions quickly, get a lot of stuff done quickly, that you'll find Sam Altman says that all of the time about the Y Combinator companies, and then being able to make a collaborative internal environment that's customer focused, that knows how to communicate with each other and externally. Those are the behavior sets that are going to guarantee that eventually the companies that have the right product market fit are going to survive long enough to enjoy that reward. So in the book, deep dive and all those sort of things. We have some case studies. Just a quick, joke here, but truthfully, originally this was going to be inside the mind of the entrepreneur, but that title was already taken. So I decided to go clickbait with unicorn builders and realized that I needed to have some unicorns. So I did a deep dive on a whole bunch of different unicorns, some famous, some that you may not have heard of, but you will soon enough. And I try to take interviews that they did and match it over top of the template of interview template that we have, so that you can actually see how to identify some of these behaviors. So it's not just me pontificating, I'm trying to share how you can actually do this too. And this is what I've been working with Aaron on to help improve, you know, our opportunities. So hopefully this is a methodology that you can add to your due diligence toolkit. I also have a plaque just over in the corner, so if you don't have time to take a picture of the QR code, please go ahead. And I think that might have been 15 minutes, about 5 more than I thought. Sorry about that.
Thank you so much, Tim. So obviously, some amazing tidbits of information that Tim bestowed on you just now, but there are plenty more in the book here, and we're going to be giving out 3 of these books at the end of the meeting today, or the event. So we will do a little raffle for that afterwards. But you can see why I have learned so much from Tim, and it's really helped me in assessing founders and talking to founders and coaching founders as well, looking at sort of what skills they may or may be missing and may need to fill some gaps with. For anyone who has joined, there are a number of seats at the front here. I'll give you a moment if you do want to come down and grab a seat at the front. Feel free to do so. I don't bite. The next portion that we're going to get into are the community announcements. So really, this is what I was talking about before, of letting everybody know about some of the great things that are happening around town, or that you're working on, that sort of thing, please. So one of the things that's happening as part of Vancouver Startup Week is Convergence, and Matthew is a member here at VANTEC, is putting on an event with Get Fresh Ventures, and I happen to be on the panel of that. That's tomorrow, 5:30 at the Convergence office. You can see all of the information on the Vancouver Startup Week agenda, the schedule. A reminder that it does end this Friday, and so if you haven't been going to too many of the events, or you've been hearing about it, I definitely recommend checking out some of those events. I've been to a few, and they are a really great time. It's opening doors, it's meeting people, it's networking and building those connections. We also want to highlight that there's a Women Innovators meetup happening on June 20th, 4:30 to 6, and that is being put on by UBC. Vancouver Entrepreneurs Forum has an event on June 27th, 8 to 9 p.m., and that's the Future of Transportation Pitch Competition. So if that's a sector that you're interested in, definitely recommend checking that out. We do send these out on our newsletter as well, but definitely feel free to take photos if you want to make a reminder for yourself. Then we have Keiretsu. So the Forum Investment Summit is coming up on July 30th at the Vancouver Club. Greg, you're sitting front row. Do you want to say a couple words about this? Or all right. Well, I really hope that if you haven't checked it out before, or you have been thinking about becoming a member, Greg is here and can answer all of your questions. Definitely worth chatting with him, but they put on a great event at the Vancouver Club, so don't miss that. And the last part is just wanting, as I said, everybody having an opportunity to promote what they've got going on, and really, as far as the community goes, we're all looking for what's interesting for investors, so companies, investing in funds, those sorts of things. And so I have my friends Graham and Olivia here from the Spring Accelerator Fund. Wait, is that the right? Impact Capital? I'll let him do the talking here, but I want to hand over so you can tell us a little bit more about your fund. So Graham, if you'd like to take it away. Graham Day, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Great to see you all. Great to be back at VANTEC. Congrats, Aaron, Lindsay, for taking this forward. I'm also privileged to be on the committee that screens a lot of the companies that come before you. So excited to contribute. So Spring Impact Capital, get right into it. For about 5 minutes of your time here. We are an early stage venture fund focused on impact-based companies. We did our first close last year and have been investing since. So I'll get into it. We invest into Canadian entrepreneurs to scale innovation for a more sustainable, healthy, and equitable world. And we do that targeting market rates of return. We choose those words carefully because that's really the foundation of our thesis. We're like you, like VANTEC, like our esteemed colleagues at eFund and What If, really recognize the value at the earliest stages. And I was just at the Canadian Venture Forum last week in Montreal, CBCA. And I can tell you there's a lot of excitement right now about investing in the pre-seed seed stages, because the vintages from these years, 2023, 24, 25, are going to be excellent versus past years, simply because of the stage of the market that we're at with reasonable valuations. We like tech-enabled climate and health companies. Those are our sectoral focuses. We believe there's lots of great tailwinds on the climate side, from policy, from government, from corporates. And by the way, I think that's going to continue regardless of what happens in the elections this fall. And health, demographic changes putting a lot of pressure on our health system, but we see, and I know you do too, amazing innovations on the diagnostic side, on the services side, on wearables, on home care, which is going to revolutionize a lot of health. And we want to be part of that ride. We also believe in diverse teams. And I think, Tim spoke to this, like diversity in opinion leads to higher performance. We know that, and we seek out teams with those attributes. So Spring is a national accelerator, and we are sort of a sister fund of Spring, the accelerator, which Aaron referred to. Spring itself has done a bunch of investments, and I led a lot of those over the last few years via SPVs. The companies many of them are doing really well, doubled, tripled their valuations. We have the Spring, the accelerator, Spring Activator, has 30 people across the country now in 6 different provinces. So our ground game is good. Lots of deals reviewed, as you can imagine, and we currently have 4 portfolio companies. So how are we making our fund? We are targeting a $20 million fund. I said we're already past our first close, which will be, when you do the math, about 30 investments for an average investment ticket of $350,000. We have extra capital for follow-on investments in the best companies, and we all have experience in working with early stage founders, so we lean in hard with those founders and through our mentor networks in Spring at large. So who are we? We're 3 partners. Olivia, who's sitting here, who put her hand up. Myself, Olivia's got a lot of amazing banking experience. I've been in management consulting before I transitioned my career to doing investing over a decade ago. And Keith Ipple, who many of you will know, has founded multiple businesses and is a well-known mentor of many startups here in British Columbia and further afield. A great investment committee. I don't have time to go through them all. And some great venture partners that give us great deal flow. And I know many of you are straining to see because of the size of the slide, but I'll tell you a couple. Jeanette Jackson, for example, CEO of Foresight, brings us some of Canada's best clean tech companies to us. Luke Sheen, who is the head of Halo Health, Canada's leading angel network for health deals. We get first crack at a lot of those deals too. We're all here because we enjoy the investing experience in the actual company. So I can tell you all about our fund structure and our thesis and our strategies, but why don't I tell you about one of the companies we invested in? So Retina Logic is a Calgary-based company. Sometimes you meet the founders and like exactly what Tim was saying, you really feel this click. Abdullah and Julia were like that for us. Abdullah is a PhD in machine learning applied to ophthalmology. And he saw this opportunity along with Julia with this antiquated market for visual field tests. So if you've been to an ophthalmologist or an optometrist, you may have done this test to check for early signs of glaucoma. Super uncomfortable, despite what that lady appears to be comfortable. Super uncomfortable. It requires a technician, a whole room, and by the way, it's about $50,000. So Abdullah and Julia have created a virtual reality goggles that do the same thing, fraction of the cost, much more comfortable, self-led, and highly mobile. So this is just an illustration of how we are convinced you can have great returns and great impact at the same time. There is no trade-off in this case. It's a high margin business, high growth. We committed to the investment as they were just getting their first revenue. They're already at 300K ARR, probably going to get to $1 million by the end of the year. And we love it for the patient access side, for our impact thesis. This is serving more rural communities, remote communities, mobile clinics, in addition to all the additional throughput in the regular urban clinics. It operates in 25 languages, which means that the language barriers are gone for many immigrant communities. And by the way, lots of interest from abroad because these things can be shipped to different corners of the world. So we're very excited with Retina, and I'm sure you are too. So stepping back a bit, your angel investors typically investing directly in companies, more and more of a trend for angels to invest in funds as well. I mean, Mike knows this, and the whole team at Felzel at eFund. NACO is talking a lot about this. So what you get is a professionally managed and diversified portfolio, of course. You get co-investment opportunities with us as we invest. You can come alongside us. You get access to professional diligence by us and our team. You get relationships with other LPs in our fund that are across the country. So getting outside of British Columbia and getting to those other markets that sometimes you may not have access to. And finally, impact measurement, a story that goes along with your returns. So a stories to tell your kids, your wife, your husband about what your companies are doing more than potentially returning capital to you. So we have come talk to us if you're interested. We have other angels that have come in, family offices, foundations, institutions that are already part of our LP base. We'd love to welcome some of you too. We normally have a $100,000 minimum investment, but we're going to waive that for a limited number of spaces from the Vancouver angel community. And would love to speak with you if you're interested. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Aaron, for having us. It's always great to be a part of these events.
Graham, and yeah, thank you for all that you contribute to VANTEC as well. Having you on the panel for pre-screening is great. And speaking of, if anyone is interested in joining one pre-screening session or multiple, or being a permanent member on that committee, come talk to me. Love to get that diversity of thought. That's what is so helpful with this. So thank you, Graham, and thank you, Olivia, for coming down, and definitely chat with them about the fund and potential interest. So next, I do want to introduce Jackson to have to say a couple words about the startup visa program that's connected with VANTEC, and then we'll get into our presentations. Jackson.
Hello, yes. VANTEC has been running the startup visa program for a long time, and today is an announcement that's slightly different. We have an orientation session for those who would like to be a VANTEC member, who's a VANTEC member, but also like to sponsor companies through our visa program. We do have an orientation that is for 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Friday, the 7th of June. So if you're interested, send an email to sud@vantec.ca. Once again, it's sud@vantec.ca. And if you're a VANTEC member, you'll be allowed to participate, and then you'll get to understand our program and how you can bring foreign companies into the Vancouver ecosystem here and enjoy all the benefits. Look forward to see those who are interested on Friday. Thank you.
All right, last quick note, just rules of engagement. We are looking for investors to meet companies, and so a lot of you do wear multiple hats. Do wear your investor hat at these events, and make those connections. Let them know what else you work on, but really it is for these entrepreneurs that have come out to present today to really meet those people that are interested in investing. So the next is on to the presentations. So you've either got a paper copy, you've got the QR code. This will come up a couple of times. Showing your feedback is really, or showing your interest will be relayed to the companies so that they can reach out to you to start those conversations after this event. If you have feedback for them, it's really, really helpful. You can add the feedback without showing interest. We won't make the intro. We just want to provide that feedback to them for sure. We'll have this QR code come up a couple more times here, but I'll leave it up for another second. And then we'll get into our companies here. And I want to take this opportunity really quickly to talk a little bit about the types of pitches that we do at VANTEC. So for those who don't already know, we have a few 90-second pitches and we have some 5-minute pitches. And this is the perfect event to highlight the different types of companies that would be in part of either of these pitches. So with the 90-second presentations, we have companies that have presented here before and are coming back to give an update. And speaking to Tim's point about task achievement, setting those goals and hitting those, that's what a lot of these companies are doing. They're talking to you for the first time, they're building a relationship, you're sort of seeing what they're going to accomplish over the next couple of months. And then they're going out and doing that and coming back. And sometimes you sort of sit on the fence, you want to see a little bit more validation or traction, and that's totally fine. And that's why we invite companies to come back and present to you all again, and you can kind of hear how they've been progressing. So we've got Squareknot Analytics that will be doing that today. We have Local Eats as a very early stage company that will likely be giving you an update now. There may or may not, in this situation, they are raising capital, but some companies won't even be raising capital at this stage, but they just want to get into the room and start building relationships with all of you, which is so important. And it's part of what I love doing with companies as well, finding those great founders, following them, and then finding when the right time to invest is. We also have companies that maybe missed the pre-screening, but they are well and truly in the midst of their round, and it's a time-sensitive thing to get into this room and fill out the rest of their round with angel investors, early stage funds that are in the room today. And so we have Portable Electric that will be giving that type of pitch. So 90-second quick intro to the business, but well and truly on the way to finish out their round. The 5-minute presentations, and these are companies often at various levels as well, or various stages, I should say, but really are looking to raise capital today and wanting to dive into those next conversations, into due diligence, and all of those sorts of things. So we have 8 companies today. You'll see on the paper copy that we had Capella on the list as well. Unfortunately, Kaylee came down with COVID, so she's not going to be here, but she will be here at a future event. But it is without further ado that I introduce our first company today. If I'd like to introduce Michael to introduce us to Squareknot Analytics.
Thanks, Aaron, and thanks, Tim, for secretly writing that book about me. Oh wait, you said I had to be humble, didn't I? Yeah. So my name is Mike Rodenberg. I am co-founder and CEO of Squareknot Analytics. We're revolutionizing the survey research industry with fintech data. Use market research and surveys for a competitive advantage. It's a $120 billion TAM every year. But I can't tell you, I've spent 30 years in this industry. There are a lot of things broken about surveys today. And this is the face of a typical research buyer. They hate it. 27% of all surveys, 27% of all buyers of survey research tell us that they have made bad business decisions because of poor quality data. And we're solving that problem. The question is, how are we solving the problem? We built Wilbur. Wilbur is a budgeting app that consumers use to manage their finances. But it's a bit of a Trojan horse, because what we do is we attach that to survey data, and we shrink the length of the survey, and we collect much better data through the budget app than anyone could ever recall when asked in a survey. We launched our app approximately 9 weeks ago. We've got 6,000 downloads, and we're really starting to see some organic growth in our user base. We're acquiring users for $6 per download. We have a roughly 2-month payback window on that customer acquisition cost, and we've generated about $15,000 in sales. So why us? We're backed. So Hugh Baker is my CTO, is at the back of the room. The 4 people here have 120 years of experience in the survey research industry. My co-founder was CEO of a Profit 500 growth company for 3 years in a row, and we have previous exits under our belt. We're raising $1 million right now. 50% of that is subscribed, primarily for user growth, with a little bit of additional product development and sales and admin. So join us for a road to smarter and better data. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike. All right. Next up, I'd like to introduce Dimitri of Local Eats to introduce us to his company. And over to you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. My name is Dmitry Kulishov. I am founder and CEO of Local Eats. Together with my team, we bring over 60 years of combined experience in agriculture, business, and tech to redefine the food ecosystem with our innovative platform built for food and beverage companies. The platform is seamlessly integrated with a marketplace where local businesses and consumers can buy directly from producers. And the timing is perfect. Consumers want to buy more local, while small and mid-sized producers struggle with unequal market access, fragmented tools, and selling channels. All of this is creating multi-billion-dollar market opportunity, positioning local food production as a key driver of industry growth. And Local Eats fills the gap by connecting every link in the chain. Our end-to-end solution allows vendors to control every aspect of their business, establish market accessibility, and meet customer demand. Unlike competitors, we're focusing on community building and collaboration within one centralized ecosystem. which creates trust, transparency, and equal opportunities for everyone. To date, we have validated MVP with 2 paid pilots, onboarded over 20 vendors, and 100 consumers who are waiting for the product launch. Additionally, we're recognized by Plug and Play among 16 innovative startups in F&B vertical. First tranche of the pre-seed round, we're raising 150,000, and additionally, we're seeking for mentorship and network connections. With the first tranche, we are set to reach 1,000 active users, 12,000 MRR, and launch in 3 major cities. And that's it for me. And Michael Pham is here. And if you like, to ask any questions, well, thank you.
Much, Dimitri. Excellent. An up-and-coming small business. I love it. All right. So next up, I'm going to introduce Keith from Portable Electric.
First time I've been on this in a while. On this side, I'm usually on actually that side. So quickly, I guess updates because we only have 90 seconds. I'm new to Portable Electric. I joined last year as CEO. Took over from one of the founders, Mark Rabin, and I've got vast experience in the business industry. Exited lots of companies. I think I was one of Mike Volker's top exits. So and I've brought along a big management team. So the big change of last year, I've really bolstered up the management team to bring a lot of top talent to us. Really what we do, we exist to displace diesel at industrial sites. We take the need away from having a diesel generator or even now, in fact, a diesel excavator, and we help support that evolution to electrified job sites. First to build a fully electrified battery-based generator system from both small to large. It's a fully integrated system. We've got 1,000 units deployed. Large customers in the last year, we've signed up our Volvo Construction, JLG Industries, Sunbelt, the list goes on. Stay closer. And at our core is our brain, right? We call it the Power AI system. This is where we've spent years investing in our technology development to really build a more integral system. It's not just batteries, it's not just the inversion systems, it's actually how it all comes together and how it's managed. To my background of what I've done. It's a big industry. It's going from 5 billion this year to 15 billion over the next 7 years. So lots of playground to play in here. My predecessor company, Generac, I spent 5 years growing or 4 years growing that business. They'd be playing in this industry. This year we're going to target roughly about 14 million in revenue US. Last year we finished off about 6 million. We've got orders in place for the majority of that already. And that's really driven for a lot of these big accounts that we picked up over the last period of time. So the company's really, coming into its own. And now we've built the team to really support that and get that growth going. You can see us all around lots of films. We just announced this, which was at Volvo's largest trade show. They just called it game-changing technology for them, which is pretty impressive for a company in Vancouver to support a global company like that. Big revenue growth, again, driven. We've got about 65 million US in ongoing order commitments from those big customers over the next 3 years that we've got to start moving on. And right now we're in the market. We've got 3 million US raise we're doing. Basically, it's a seed movement stage. 2 of that's already been raised in the bank, and then we'll have follow-on working capital debt support our growth.
All right, fantastic. So now we've got our 5-minute presenters here. We'll get we'll jump right into Nadine from SnapCyte. So welcome, Nadine.
Everyone, my name is Nadine, and I'm the CTO and co-founder at SnapCyte, where we're democratizing life science research by increasing access to advanced technology in life science research laboratories around the world. So life science research or biomedical research at its essence is the study of cells. We need to understand how cells grow, what happens to them when we get sick, and how we can treat those sicknesses with new treatments. But the very first step to answer any of those questions is the ability to quantify these cells as a very first step in any experiment design or in any laboratory. Now, in majority of the labs around the world, this is how we quantify cells right now. Scientist needs to sit down at a microscope, look at the cells, and then count them with a clicker, like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a very tedious, error-prone process. It's very time-consuming. And when 2 people are counting the same sample, you can imagine that they can never get the same results. There have been some efforts to streamline this process and automate it with high-tech instrumentations. However, they're very expensive, and they still have quite a bit of user variation in their data. That's why that a lot of laboratories are still using manual manual counting. And also the reason that we have the big crisis of reproducibility in life science research, where thousands and thousands of papers are getting retracted every year. That's because a lot of the processes that we do are not standardized yet. So I discovered this problem when I was a PhD student, when I stepped first time in the lab as a PhD student, and I was like, well, there has to be a better way to do this. And that was how SnapCyte was born. SnapCyte is a software platform that is based on AI, and it can analyze images of cells in less than a minute and give you exact measurements of count, confluency, and other parameters that scientists measure to understand what's happening to their cell and to decide what to do next. This is how it works. SnapCyte will allow you, it's both on a mobile phone and a computer, and it will allow you to turn a very, very basic microscope into an intelligent cell analysis tool. So you can simply just mount your phone, take a picture, pictures analyzed in less than a minute, you get your results immediately while you're working in the lab. Compared to the manual methods, and even compared to the chemical-based solutions, or even the latest available instrumentations that are out there to be able to do the same level of measurements, we're as fast as, again, the latest technology, but at a fraction of the cost of the technology. And it's also a much more sustainable solution compared to the other available options, as we don't need any additional reagent or consumable or plastic to be able to do the measurements. So we just released the very first beta or MVP version of the app a couple of months ago, and we already have more than 60 laboratories that are in the pilot program, where they test the app for a couple of months, and then they will transition into paying customers in a subscription model, in a yearly subscription. This idea again started when I was a PhD student with my two other co-founders, Matt and Nader. Matt was my PI at the time. He has a lot of experience as a serial entrepreneur, taking ideas from the lab and commercializing them. And Nader has a lot of experience as an R&D consultant, as a cell biologist. And we joined at UBC very early stage. And since then, we've been taking advantage of amazing advisors that they have there. Michelle and Carl have been with the team and helping us with the business development, sales, and marketing, and the go-to-market strategy. We are spun out of UBC. We licensed our IP from UBC in 2022, and we raised $1 million at that time to be able to develop the first MVP or the product. And over the past couple of months that we've started releasing the app, we've already doubled the amount of users in the labs that we have on our platform, and we're now raising $2 million to continue that growth and take the product to the next, from this beta version to the commercial version, and also increase our user base to 4,000 users and $1.5 million in annual recurring revenue by end of 2026. Thank you for listening, and come talk to us if you're interested. I stay here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I want to open this up to anyone that has a question. We've got Ethan with a microphone, so feel free to ask questions. But Greg, since you're so close, why don't you ask a question? I'll repeat it.
Size of the market, and was it a convertible note that you raised?
All right. So the question was, can you tell us about the size of the market and what you're using to raise capital?
So the size of the market, actually, that's a very common question that we get, because people think it's only applicable to academic research labs. However, it's a very big market. So there are 4 million users on a daily basis that do this process in both pharmaceutical and academia around the world. However, we're just targeting 1 million users. That's around $950 million yes, yeah, 1 million people in North America only. So that is yes. Thinking right now.
Is it a convertible note or what?
It's a price round.
Amazing. Any other questions? Got a shy bunch out there today. You can always talk to Negan. Yes. And her co-founder Nada is at the back there. Raise your hand so everyone knows who you are. They've got their set up at the back there as well, but we'll be mixing and mingling, and can always ask your questions. Well, honestly, Greg, you stole my question. That was going to be really what I was looking for, because it is a common question. Like how many people are struggling with this? How big is this problem? So no, that's fantastic. If there's no other questions, go ahead, Graham. Ethan.
So beyond counting, big vision for the company, what can you do and how can you leverage that data?
Oh, yeah, that's, I mean, we have a lot of ideas that are gonna be the product development kind of like roadmap from now on, but there's a lot of parameters that you can assess visually from an image, from morphology all the way to differentiation, how the cells differentiate to different cell types. That's very applicable to stem cell technology. That is one of the biggest markets that we're going after we've done with commercializing this very first product that we've done. Yeah, a lot of different movements in the cell migration, invasion, in metastasis analysis, and all those would be the main.
All right. Thank you so much, Megan.
Thank you so much.
All right. Next, I'd like to introduce Morgan from LexSelect to introduce us to your business. Here's the control.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm co-founder and CEO of LexSelect. We're an AI-powered platform for automating the daily workflows of legal professionals. We have a unique founding team. It includes myself. I'm a lawyer and an experienced operator who built a research product that's used by the world's leading law firms. Jack Newton is a very successful entrepreneur and one of the leading visionaries in the legal tech sector. Scott Foster is a leading IP litigator and has an intimate understanding of the problems that legal professionals face in their daily workflows. So Scott faces this problem of having to copy text from PDFs and paste it into working documents in Word. It's a very tedious process because it requires reformatting the text to match his working document, and then manually generating a citation to indicate the source of that text. That process or action takes 60 seconds to complete, and when added up cumulatively across the workflow for a trial, it adds up to 50 hours of low-value work. This causes three problems. First, it decreases revenues because this low-value work is frequently written off or discounted from a lawyer's fees. It also adds the amount of staff required to service a client's needs, and it introduces this element of risk. LexSelect solves this problem by using a combination of AI technologies to automatically search, contextualize, and extract text from unstructured documents and seamlessly integrate it into working documents. So it takes that 60-second action and reduces it down to less than 5 seconds. And when looking at that workflow for the trial, it takes 50 hours of low-value work and reduces to 4 hours, so 12 times reduction, which enables a legal professional to focus on high-value billable work and eliminate. Currently, there's a chasm between the individual lawyer and the vast knowledge repositories that exist across a law firm. This chasm creates inefficiencies, and it also limits the lawyer's ability to access that collective knowledge of the firm. LexSelect's technology has the power to bridge that chasm by enabling lawyers to access relevant documents and actual insights. So similar to how Grammarly enables writers to give suggestions and corrections to their work as they write, we'll be the Grammarly for lawyers, enabling them to access the collective knowledge of the firm in real time. Other products in the market are not providing this, bridging this chasm because they're too complex, they do not integrate directly into workflows, and they're too specialized. The opportunity with LexSelect is immense. The legal tech market is expected to grow to $50 billion a year by 2027. We'll be initially focusing on litigators in the US market and other common law jurisdictions. We're building LexSelect on a scalable business model. So we'll be initially focusing on solo firms and small practices with a directly engageable product with users that is self-serve and enables them to speed up that sales cycle. We'll also be delivering a highly outstanding user experience that integrates directly within workflows to facilitate product-led growth. And then our technology is scalable. It is highly modular, which enables us to adapt to new technologies as they evolve. We're making great progress. So we were recently recognized as one of the leading emerging tech startups at the American Bar Association's show. We've built a great team to support ongoing product development. Last month, we released our beta and have onboarded 14 early adopter customers, which is generating great feedback and engagement. It's signifying that we're delivering significant value. We recently graduated from CDL's accelerator program and are attending their super session in a couple of weeks to engage with their global community investors. We are now going to start transitioning to commercial release over the next couple of months, and then we'll start engaging in the process to reach key benchmarks that will lead to an institutional seed round in Q3 of 2025. Post-seed, we will refine product market fit, enhance the product offering to increase our ACV, and then build a repeatable, scalable sales cycle that will fuel growth in years 3 and 4. We are leveraging our current traction and raising capital, $1 million. We have 275 of that committed through a strategic investor. We'll be using that capital to go to market and establish that early product market fit, leading to that seed round next year. Thank you very much.
All right, any questions for Morgan? We got a very shy bunch today. Let me start by kicking us off with a question here. So, Morgan, can you tell us more about your differentiation and why customers are going to choose your product? You touched a little bit on the competitors, but dive a little bit deeper for us.
Well, one of the things you typically see in legal tech is they actually take a much more top-down approach. They focus on the largest firms first. We're taking the opposite approach of going bottoms up, focusing on providing a very simple and intuitive solution that enables us to target those solo and small firms. And one of the advantages of this that people don't realize, this actually represents the vast majority of the market. So 70% of lawyers in the US are in firms of less than 10 lawyers. And actually Clio, which my co-founder is the CEO of, that's where they found all their success. They've only just gone mid-market. The other part is the technology itself. We are using a combination of AI technologies. We're not just an LLM wrapper. We're building IP around this to solve this core problem of the PDF or unstructured document issue, which represents the vast majority of the documents that exist in a document management system in a law firm. And that has tremendous opportunity across many practice areas that these specialized tools are not addressing.
Mike.
Who would buy this company?
Well, I mean, we hope to it to be a standalone product in itself that we can grow. And as I showed with our roadmap, we hope to scale it to become a standalone company in itself. Having said that, we know that this sort of solution, when it comes to integrating with document management systems and e-discovery systems, would represent a tremendous opportunity for them to integrate directly into the workflows of their customers or their users. So if you're looking at the e-discovery companies of the world, they'd be very interested in what we're doing as the document management systems as well.
All right. Yes, we got a question in the middle. It may need to be turned on. Sorry.
What happens if Adobe decides they want to make it easier to work with PDFs?
I mean, there's two components to this, right? There's the technology. And yes, of course, Adobe has tremendous resources, but they're not really focused on this particular problem because they want to protect PDF. We're trying to throw PDF upside down, make it so it's a totally interactive document. And then also it's about how you engage with the user, engage with the customer. And that's where we bring our expertise in terms of the legal domain.
Right. Yes, we got a question, Graham.
Yeah, just curious. Just curious, how have you guys got your initial traction with your initial customers? Always very fascinating.
Yeah, we did a bit of a pre-launch campaign in association with that American Bar Association event that we went to. And that was a big success. So we essentially a LinkedIn campaign. And then we went to the event, we pitched, and that enabled us to develop a list of over 200 waitlist customers. And then those were the initial target for our early adopter customers that align with our RCP. And as we start to branch out, we'll bring in more of those customers off the waitlist.
Tim, you have a question?
So super quick, considering your co-founder, is that a channel that you're going to use for sales, and can you leverage that?
I mean, yes. I mean, obviously, Jack has tremendous influence in the industry and will enable us to connect with customers. But in terms of Clio itself, we don't want to be tied to that in terms of its presence in the market. We think this is a bigger opportunity in that sense. Not necessarily bigger than Clio, but Clio represents just one segment of the market, and we don't want to get pigeonholed to that. We want to address the whole use case across all practice areas, which is far beyond what Clio is.
All right. Thanks so much, Morgan. All right. Next up, I'd like to introduce Charlie from Focal Lines. I'm going to introduce us to your business.
Hello, everyone. I'm Charlie Wu from Focal Lines Technologies. So this was me, these pictures, when I was training extensively to recover from the calf muscle injuries a few years ago. And I had a lot of trouble to comply with the instruction from my physical therapist, especially when it's come to which muscle that I need to work on. And later on, I discovered that this is a challenge faced by many, many other people who have the even more serious problem with the muscles, with the neuromuscular injury. And most of the time that we have to do our rehab at home without the proper and close guidance from the. And let's be honest, even the experienced practitioners find it hard to monitor the recovery of a certain muscle group and making it challenging for them to optimize the therapy for the client. So at Focal Lines, we're developing a platform powered by the muscle computer interface and the wearable textile, the wearable textile. And this allows us to track trends and ultimately transform the outcome for the people undergoing physiotherapy. This platform will bring the real benefit for both user and practitioners by improving the right muscles and doing the right exercise and continuously. The patients can improve gait, balance, and functional recovery. The practitioners can also customize the prescribed therapy for their clients to better suit with their needs. And the fabric sensors is comfortable to wear and easy to wear and to use. And it's reusable up to 500 times, making it highly affordable and environmentally friendly. While we will not compete directly with the equipment commonly seen in a hospital or in a clinic, rather we see it complement well with the product offered by the market leader in telerehabilitations. It excels two key criteria. Number one, provide the at-home use after settings. And number two, is provide the insight and vital biofeedback on the muscle health and the muscle recovery. And with the continuous data that we collected, we are well positioned to leverage AI to develop the personalized training model for the client based on their unique needs. And we've seen the substantial market opportunity in the $10 billion telerehabilitations. So our initial focus will be on the neurological impairment case, such as stroke complications and incomplete spinal cord injuries, specifically targeting the functional recovery of their lower body as well as the upper body. And here's our go-to-market strategies. Last year, we have achieved an important milestone by successful completion of the customer discovery with Praxis Spinal Cord Institute here in Vancouver. And now we are in discussion with the clinics, the rehab clinics, to bring this product into the hand of the health specialist to assess how it's integrated with their workflow. And our timeline will include the paid pilot and submission with FDA and Health Canada by Q3 2020. So when we expand across the border, our business model will be the subscription based, and we're going to charge $60 for the user for access the app and the hardware. And we will also provide the remote monitoring service for the rehab clinics who will claim the reimbursement through the public and private. And as we grow, I estimate that we will break even with 6,000 users. And I projected to have this number tenfold by year 4. And at Focalize, we are building a mission-driven team that's fully committed to make the innovation that makes a great impact through innovations. And I myself dedicated my full-time effort to leading this effort. And considering all the factors, I'm looking to raise $1.2 million to get through the regulation pathway and to get this product to the market. So please, and of course, I'm looking for the introduction in the rehabilitations and the clinic. Thank you very much for the attention. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Charlie. So stick around for a couple of questions. Just to lead it off, you mentioned that part of this raise is going towards getting through the regulatory path, and so talk a little bit more about that pathway and the timelines and how that is going to relate to generating revenues.
Oh yes, so in order to get this product to the hand of the user, we need to pass the biosafety, and we need to have the like the classifier for the class 1 medical device in the US and class 2 in Canada. So with class 1 medical device with FDA, we will not require the clinical data. So for 510K process, it would take, I would say, realistically from 12 to 18 months to get the.
Any questions for Charlie?
What's your website URL?
So it's focalize.ca, sir.
Say that again.
Focalize.ca.
Any other questions? Yes, Jeff.
Have you started that?
Yes, it's already. So it's all about the concept design and everything. So we actually started the documentations, and we collect all the documentation when we build the product and the concept from the prototype. So yeah.
And that question was just, have you started the process of regulation pathway? All right. Saving the questions for networking. Thank you so much, Charlie.
Thank you so much.
All right. Next up, I would like to introduce Matt from Gridbid.
Hey everyone, my name's Matt. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Gridbid. And my least favorite words on the planet are heat pumps don't work. Now, I've engineered and managed construction projects for almost 10 years. These systems, they're brilliant. I went on to engage with over 500 stakeholders, from homeowners to people in policy and everything in between. What I learned is that for high efficiency homes, the house as a system concept, which breaks down different home components and how they rely on one another, is being overlooked. Take project planning, for example. Most homeowners don't know a $1,500 investment in ceiling air leaks can save several $1,000s through downsizing a heat pump, avoiding a panel upgrade, or saving long-term on energy bills. Next, homeowners often select the wrong quote. This yields results like poor home comfort, exorbitant upfront and ongoing costs, and early system failure. Even sound quotes falter without the proper walkthrough or commissioning processes, which doesn't happen in today's ecosystem. For contractors, not only have the processes of assessing efficient homes now changed, but they're burdened by government-mandated administrative tasks and rebate support. This is costing them tens of thousands of dollars a year with low quote success rates. Contractors are often overcharging or cutting corners in installations. Sounds messy, right? Enter Gridbid, a platform that connects homeowners to contractors for cost and time-effective retrofits. Our platform expertly navigates homeowners through the retrofit, start to finish, through automated project management best practices with house as a system principles built in. To start, we offer tailored insights and estimates. We complete the complex calculations, build a home profile, and connect homeowners with pre-qualified trades. Once contractors quote, our platform lines up the quotes side by side, highlighting key differences, providing commentary, and even rebate safeguards. This process greatly enhances contractor productivity, saving them hundreds of dollars per individual lead. As we go to market, we're focused on homeowner adoption. Our platform is free to homeowners, or we charge a nominal fee, while we charge a monthly subscription fee to contractors for access to these retrofit-ready leads. As we scale and build network effects, we switch to a transaction take-based model. This allows us to charge both sides of the marketplace, which lands us at around $1,000 of revenue per project with approximately 70% margin. Now, homeowners desire comprehension and control over the enhancements to their greatest asset, their home, without the major cost and time investment. Full service firms charge upwards of 20% and leave homeowners in the dark with respect to project specifics. Lead generation services fail to provide that end-to-end support they needed. Gridbid strikes the balance. We provide the guidance and education necessary for homeowners to make informed decisions about their home. This in turn allows contractors to focus on their skilled trades work and receive retrofit-ready and education. My co-founder Jacob has worked over 5 years at a travel marketplace scale-up, which has served hundreds of thousands of daily active users and processes millions of dollars daily. With my deep domain expertise in engineering and construction, and Jacob's technical background in marketplace startups, our team perfectly fit to solve this problem. Now, as we approach the problem, we took manual efforts and spreadsheets that we supported paying homeowners with and developed our MVP, which has already had 3 plus 1 today, 4 homeowners onboarded onto our platform. As we go to market, we're launching for heat pump retrofits specifically in the lower. You can see our self-sustainability threshold. This can be met with only a 4% share in our go-to-market, which is around 350 retrofits per year. The Lower Mainland is the perfect place to do this. The most robust rebate programs, a 16% year-over-year increase in installs, and contractor pre-qualifications are already complete. Now, we've managed to do this all. These funds will be used to build our product team to develop the full marketplace, including payments, achieve self-sustainability, and deliver 250 retrofit projects. We've also circled a $1 million non-dilutive grant that we believe we have a strong opportunity to achieve. If you're interested in hearing more, I'll be available after, and we can also run you through our demo. Thank you.
Questions for Matt? All right, I'll kick us off. So, can you share more about the plans that you have for growth beyond the self-sustaining level, and really what metrics are you tracking for the business and your growth?
So as we go to market, obviously not terribly sustainable. We're taking a page out of Paul Graham's book on do things that don't scale, home trade shows. And as we start to expand beyond the Lower Mainland, we focused heavily on SEO. We've already seen a tremendous growth in organic impressions and organic clicks. The 2 metrics we're really following are customer acquisition cost and LTV. We want homeowners to come and stay on the platform. And we also want contractors to use our platform, not only for a source, but also as a CRM tool. So these are programs that we look to initiate in the platform as we start to see more volume.
Great. Any other questions in the crowd? All right. saving it for networking. Go ahead, Roger. Yeah.
On single family houses as opposed to condominium buildings?
So our sole focus right now is on single family homes, primarily because it's something that we can automate really, really well. As soon as we get into larger rise buildings, there's more assessments. We would turn into effectively consultant. We are starting to evaluate low rise multi-unit residential buildings, and we're starting to talk to stratas now. That's more of a copy and paste job on adjacent townhouses. However, large scale industrial and commercial buildings would almost be consultancy.
Yes, Michael.
Question, okay?
Yes, of course.
How are you dealing with sort of the step code and versus net zero, or are you supporting different types of building targets?
Yeah, so the step code primarily focuses on new builds. Now, as different cities install step codes, we're familiar with all of them. In a lot of cases, there's permit applications for retrofits that happen. For the switch to heat pumps and electrical buildings specifically, there are no requirements from the step code as we do retrofits. However, the step code does introduce an opportunity for us to help homeowners and home builders identify and find ways to basically make the most value of their installations with crafty engineering and houses assistant principles. Step code is how to describe this? It supersedes the existing building code. It's something that British Columbia has invested a ton of time and effort into. It effectively requires that homes become more energy efficient as we hit different steps. So Vancouver, I believe, is step 4. Other cities, let's say in the East Kootenays, around step 2, as it's a bit harder to keep homes warmer there. They want furnaces in homes and not necessarily heat pumps. So step code is based on BC homes.
Rob, do you have a question?
How do you address the two-sided marketplace issue and problem? How do you get people on the fly?
So how we're acquiring homeowners primarily is through SEO. I've spent a ton of time at trade shows. I'm dropping business cards in cafes where postering heat pump advertisements on affluent west-facing neighborhoods on hydro poles. We've already started to see some homeowners come through word of mouth. With the contractor space, I did work in contracting for a number of years. We've made contacts that way. The province has done a lot of pre-vetting of contractors for the rebate programs that exist. This is a list that's available online. I've personally reached out to all 180 contractors in our go-to-market region. There's a lot of trust when I say I'm a licensed professional engineer, and what I'm trying to do is trying to solve one of their problems. So many contractors are receptive to us. 74% of contractors in Canada are 5 people or less. And those are the folks who are really struggling with these administrative costs. And those are the ones that are seeing the value in us being able to handle all that heavy lifting while they focus on their skilled trades work.
Yes, Erlich, and then we've got one at the back here. Yes.
The actual SaaS tool itself is a homeowner tool. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. There we go. Thank you.
Excellent. So we had a question at the back. Yes.
Who is your competitor?
So there's a few competitors in Canada. There's 2 based on the East Coast, Patio and Julia. They launched at around the same time that we launched. They are primarily lead generation services. So Julia operates as a lead gen service. They effectively roadmap the home for home efficiency, and they stop their service right at the contractor connection. One thing that's very challenging for homeowners is the commissioning and walkthrough process. That's where a lot of issues happen, and that's where homeowners see problems because the contractor finishes the job and then they move to the next gig. It's important to actually support with commissioning, rebate applications, and walkthrough reports. The other company, Patio, is effectively a full service company. What they do and who they work with is quite dark and not transparent. They charge homeowners $2,500 for their service, and we understand that they're perhaps changing their business model.
All right. Thanks so much, Matt. All right. Last but not least, I'd like to introduce Vincent to tell us a little bit more about moneylab. So, Vincent, over to you.
Just wanted to say that I almost didn't make it today due to a sudden and unexpected passing of a close family friend. Just want to say, hug your kids, FaceTime your parents, go visit your Aunt Betsy in Vernon. Time is precious, life is short. I'm Vincent Wong, co-founder and CEO of moneylab Technologies. Our company is about banks, and specifically US banks, and how to make them safer and more profitable. First, just a little bit of background. Ever since I was a kid, I have been fascinated by money and banking. I can still remember taking my paper out money What's that? And passbook into my local Royal Bank branch, receiving my passbook back and seeing all those entries marked interest with a balance magically going up every month. Fast forward to 1994, I finished my degree, the London School of Economics, $300 to my name, and there's a fork in the road. To the right, there was a Citibank job offer with a plane ticket to Hong Kong to join their derivatives team. To the left, a successful entrepreneur inviting me for a walk around the park, whispering of big things in the emerging technology space. It was financial weapons of mass destruction versus the information superhighway. Chose the latter and the life. And it's been a road of grit, hustle, and elbowing into rooms where I wasn't necessarily welcome. With moneylab, I have come full circle. Our story is about technology and banking, and specifically 8,000 little banks and credit unions that exist today in the United States. And their problem is this: the tools and processes of these small banks date back to the era of passbooks, when banking was a lot simpler. You took in deposits, you lent that money out as mortgages and business loans, you made a nice spread, a safe and reliable business. That world no longer exists. Financial instruments are more complex. Events move faster. Customers and businesses behave differently. If you get a black swan every 10 years, is it still a black swan? If you had told me 25 years ago that I would see planes crash into the World Trade Center, or that a tiny pathogen with little spikes would shut the world down, I would have asked you, what have you been smoking? And is it legal? We're not in the business of predicting black swans, but we are in the business of providing a superior management tool for banks to navigate around the swans. One that gives them a strategic edge by doing three things. Number one, identifying opportunities to safely make more money that the executive team cannot see because of manpower and time allocation issues. Number two, spotting problems in the balance sheet and providing advance warning before they blow up. And my favorite example is Silicon Valley Bank. The story of Silicon Valley Bank goes like this. In the middle of the pandemic, the money is rushing in. The VCs are writing checks, the companies are depositing it, and who doesn't have a Silicon Valley Bank account? Hooray, I have $100 billion extra, but I have no place to put it. What's the safest bet I can make? I'll lend it back to the US government for 10 years. I've made my bonus. But what's wrong with this picture? And this is what the moneylab platform would have found. Those deposits are not like your usual corporate deposits. What does a startup do when it collects $2 million from its investors? You're spending. You have no customers. You have no positive cash flow. Those balances are only going to go one way, and that's Silicon Valley's story. Number three, doing this in a timely manner. You've got to know this now because the markets move so quickly. You cannot wait 4 weeks for the consultants to spool up their spreadsheets, download the data, come back with a pretty PowerPoint. And that's moneylab in a nutshell. So what have we been up to over the last 6 months? We've been on the road to Chicago, Atlanta, Las Vegas, running demos, talking up bankers, lining up strategic partners. And we've gotten a pretty robust response. Happy to share more in a follow-up. We have been onboarding talent and sector experts like Eric in Chicago, who is a banker and treasury consultant with 40 years experience, knows the US banking ecosystem inside out. And there's folks like Tony, also out of Chicago, who is the founder of one of the largest bank consulting companies and a prominent pundit in the past on CNBC. You may have heard of the Dodd-Frank Act passed by Congress during the Obama years. Tony knows Frank and he knows Dodd. And there's the tech team led by Mark Dawson. Some of you may know Mark. He is a superstar AI talent. Formerly with McDonald Detweiler, where he worked on a number of projects, including the Canadarm, something to be proud of. He's a 20-year veteran of AI and machine learning, real AI, real machine learning, with foundational LLM and predictive text patents to his name. On your phone, when it predicts what you're going to type, that's it. We're in the early stages. We're raising $2 million in pre-seed money, common shares to fund our MVP development and initial business development. It's going to be at a disgusting valuation. I'll let you know what it is when I get back from New York. Happy to stay in chat and answer any questions.
To kick it off, disgusting good, right?
Depends on who's writing the check.
So open it up for any questions for Vincent. Yes, at the back.
Yeah, a question on that is that you focused on the US bank, but is it a product that you can use globally? It absolutely can. Asset management is asset management. The reason we're focusing on the US is that it is a target-rich environment. 1,000 little banks and credit unions, no bigger than 10 billion in assets.
So who's the core buyer within the banking?
Oh, this is going to be the CFO. This is going to be straight to the CFO. Yeah, we want to be the CFO's best friend. This is the moneylab platform is going to be his best friend on a Sunday morning when he's got a nagging feeling about that treasury portfolio. He read a headline somewhere, but damn it, those consultants aren't going to get back to me on time. What's my exposure? 400 basis point decrease, increase. So the question is, who would this product go to for approvals and usage? Yeah, I would say this is a question better answered by Eric. I'm saying CFO because it's the CFO who's going to make that final decision. It may end up being the risk guys, but the risk guys just defer to the CFO.
And SaaS model?
SaaS model
leads quite well into the question that I'd like to ask, which is that talking about these customers, they're notoriously picky for choosing new vendors that they're working with. How is a small company from Vancouver going to break into this market?
Yeah. So I've been around the block a few times and I love shortcuts. And the, excuse me. Guys like Eric, who know the US banking system so well, they know where all the nooks and crannies are. Who's got the network of 1,000 banks that we can go to for a strategic partnership? So it's going to be those strategic partners that we're going after. We've identified about 12. We're evaluating them now. We'll need to elbow our way into a partnership. We think we can do it by leveraging one against the other. And those networks and strategic partners, those will be our into the CFOs.
Excellent. Any final question? Yes, Sean?
In your past ventures, can you tell me about how much you returned to investment from past?
Our last 3 projects, they were more transactional. When we listed them, within a year of listing, the collective market cap was about 400 million. And I can share more details in the follow-up. Happy to take a meeting.
All right, last words.
What's your exit plan?
There are no shortage of buyers for this type of products. There's a company called, can't remember the name of it now, but it would be selling to someone like an S&P. The last acquisition of a bank data analytics, blah, blah, 2.6 billion. I'm happy to get the name and share that with you.
All right. Thanks so much, Vincent. So again, feel free to share your interests, your feedback. I'm excited to get into networking. I think we heard from a couple of people in the audience that they like health tech, they like B2B SaaS. We heard a lot of B2B SaaS and health tech businesses today. A couple final notes to mention here. Our next event is on Wednesday, July 3rd. That's the last one before the summer. We'll be hosting that one at BCIT Tech Collider. Speaking of BCIT, I do want to give a big shout out to our volunteers. Thank you, everyone that came in and is helping out today. We wouldn't be able to put on the event to this caliber without you. Obviously, the team at Manning Elliott as well has been so important to have. And thank you so much to Ashma and Lindsay as well for all the hard work that you put into these events as well. Lindsay or Ashma, can I ask you to bring the bowl for the raffle up to the front here? All right, we'll do this one nice and quick here. And just while I'm picking a few of these raffle tickets here, I do want to make a last announcement that we do have our 25th year anniversary coming up on July 10th. We did have a technical issue with the event page, which was saying that the event was full. It's not completely full. If you have not gotten your ticket yet, please do so because it will fill up. We are getting a lot of people to the event on July 10th. So make sure to get your ticket to that. And chat with me after. Obviously, members for this event, if you are not a member, come chat with me about becoming a member. But here are the 3 tickets. We have number 8021398, 8021-401 and 802-1404. All right, I'll read those again really quickly. We've got 802-1398, 802-1401, and 802-1404. Come get your books, and Tim is around to sign afterwards as well. There you go. Perfect. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the network.